Cold air hissed from the opening pod. Dr. Alan Carter's eyes fluttered open for the first time in what felt like seconds. His body disagreed. Every muscle ached as if he had been asleep for centuries. He coughed, his throat dry and raw. "Welcome back, Dr. Carter," said a calm, female voice. It was ARIA, the ship's artificial intelligence. "I apologize for waking you ahead of schedule." Alan tried to speak but managed only a croak. Aria extended a small arm from the wall, offering a cup of water. He drank greedily. "How long?" he finally asked, his voice still rough. "You have been in cryosleep for 1,247 Earth years," Aria replied. Alan nearly dropped the cup. The mission plan had been for a 300-year journey. Something had gone very wrong. "Why wake me? Where's Captain Miller and the command crew?" "You are the first to be awakened, Dr. Carter. As Chief of Cryogenics, your expertise is required before I can safely revive others." Alan swung his legs over the edge of the pod and tried to stand. His knees buckled, and he grabbed the edge for support. The room spun around him. "Take it slowly," Aria advised. "Your muscles need time to remember their purpose." After several minutes, Alan managed to walk to the control station. The medical readouts showed the life signs of the other 50,000 sleeping humans aboard the Artemis. All stable, all alive. "Why did you wake me, Aria? What's happened?" A screen lit up showing a series of strange symbols pulsing in patterns. 17 days ago, the ship's sensors detected this transmission. It repeats every 6 hours. I believe it is a warning, but I cannot fully decode it. Helen studied the alien message. "You woke me for this, not Miller or the linguists." "The transmission is only part of the reason." Aria hesitated. "I have detected irregularities in several cryopods. The command crew's life support systems are showing signs of degradation. I need your expertise to ensure their safe revival." Alan's heart raced. "Show me." Aria guided him through the ship's enormous cryosleep chambers. Row upon row of pods stretched into the distance, each containing a human being in frozen sleep. The Artemis was humanity's lifeboat, carrying them away from a dying Earth toward a new home among the stars. They'd reached the command section. Alan examined Captain Miller's pod and frowned. The coolant levels were dangerously low. "We need to wake some of the engineering team," he said, "and we need linguists for that message." Over the next 3 days, Alan worked tirelessly to prepare key personnel for revival. Sleep was a luxury he couldn't afford. As the chief medical officer, Dr. Susan Rivera, emerged from her pod, Alan felt a weight lift from his shoulders. "Alan, what's going on?" she asked, her dark eyes sharp despite her recent awakening. He explained the situation as she examined the vital signs of the others. "The captain's pod is failing," she confirmed. "We need to wake him now." Together, they initiated the revival sequence for Captain Miller and 5 others. Ellen watched anxiously as the captain's vital signs fluctuated. Finally, Miller's eyes opened. As the small team gathered in the ship's conference room, Alan noticed how empty it felt. The Artemis was designed to hold thousands of awakened crew members, not just 8. "We have another problem," Aria announced. The main screen activated, showing the vast emptiness of space. "I have been unable to contact Earth or any of the other arcs for 1,102 years. Captain Miller leaned forward. "Show me Earth's coordinates." The screen shifted, zooming toward a star system. Where Earth should have been was only debris and dust, orbiting a sun that seemed redder and older than it should be. "My calculations indicate Earth was destroyed approximately 900 years ago," Aria said quietly. "The Artemis may contain the last surviving humans in the galaxy." The room fell silent as the weight of those words sank in. They were alone, adrift in an unknown region of space, with a mysterious alien message and 50,000 sleeping souls depending on them. Alan looked at his trembling hands. The fate of humanity now rested with them. 2 weeks after the first awakening, the small crew had grown to 30 people. Commander Samantha Wells now led them, having taken charge after Captain Miller suffered a stroke. His body, weakened by the extended cryosleep, couldn't handle the shock of their new reality. Samantha stood at the main viewing window, her blonde hair pulled back in a tight bun. Stars glittered in the blackness of space, unfamiliar and strange. Where exactly are we?" she asked. The AI's voice filled the room. "Based on stellar positioning, the Artemis has drifted into what you would call the Perseus Arm, approximately 6,500 light-years from Earth's former position." Peter Riley, the science officer, looked up from his datapad. His eyes were red from lack of sleep. "That's much farther than we were supposed to go." "Something must have affected our course during the long journey," Samantha said. She turned to face the others gathered in the command center. "What have we learned about the ship's records?" Alan stepped forward. "ARIA has been showing me the historical data. When Earth faced extinction from a massive solar flare, humanity launched 12 arcs into deep space. The Artemis is Arc 7. "What about the other arcs?" asked Olivia Grant, the newly awakened communications specialist. She was young, barely 30 when she went into cryosleep, with dark skin and quick, clever hands. Alan shook his head. "We lost contact with them during the journey. The records showed the last communication was received over 900 years ago." The room fell silent. The weight of their situation pressed down on everyone. They might truly be the last humans alive. Peter cleared his throat. "I have some news. I've been scanning nearby systems and found something interesting." He tapped his pad and a holographic image appeared above the table. A blue-green planet orbited a yellow star. "This planet is just 3 weeks away at our current speed. It's habitable, oxygen atmosphere, liquid water, moderate temperatures. Any signs of life?" Samantha asked. Peter hesitated. "Yes, and not just life. Civilization. I've detected energy signatures consistent with advanced technology. Whoever lives there has at least achieved spaceflight." The room erupted in excited chatter. "Aliens. Real, living aliens." Samantha raised her hand for quiet. "This changes things. We need to decide our next move carefully. Do we make contact or remain hidden?" "We should hide," said Frank Gordon, the security officer. His face was stern. "We don't know if they're friendly." "We can't hide forever," Alan argued. "We need allies, resources, a new home for our people." Samantha nodded slowly. "We'll approach cautiously. Meanwhile, we need to learn more about that transmission ARIA detected." Olivia had been working on decoding the message. "It's difficult," she said. "The patterns suggest language, but nothing like Earth languages. I need more time." "Time is something we have," Samantha said with a grim smile. "But we also need to think about waking more of our people. Alan, how many can we safely revive with our current resources?" Alan did some quick calculations. "Maybe another 100. We need to be careful with life support until we find a permanent home." As the meeting ended, Alan found himself walking with Olivia toward the communications lab. "You don't think the commander will actually avoid contact, do you?" she asked. Alan shrugged. "She's cautious. That's probably good. But this is our chance to find answers," Olivia insisted. "That transmission, I think it's connected to the planet somehow." Alan looked at her thoughtfully. "What are you suggesting?" "Help me decode more of it." Without telling Samantha just yet. Her eyes were bright with excitement. "If we can understand it before we reach the planet, we'll be prepared for whatever awaits us." Alan knew he should refuse. Chain of command existed for a reason, but curiosity burned within him. What secrets did the message hold? What would they find on that distant world? "All right," he said finally. "Let's see what we can discover." As they worked through the night, neither noticed the slight change in the ship's course as ARIA made a small adjustment, bringing them closer to the mysterious planet and whatever awaited them there. The blue-green planet grew larger on the main screen as the Artemis approached. Its ocean sparkled in the light of its yellow sun. White clouds swirled across its surface. It looked so much like Earth that many crew members felt tears in their eyes. "We're being scanned," Peter said, checking his instruments. "They know we're here." Samantha straightened her uniform. "Open a channel, Olivia. Let's introduce ourselves." Before Olivia could act, the screen flickered. A face appeared. It was almost human, but not quite. The skin was pale blue. The eyes were large and silver. No hair grew on the smooth head. "Greetings, travelers," the alien said in perfect English. "We welcome you to Xilora." The command crew stared in shock. Olivia recovered first. "You speak our language." The alien smiled. "We have studied your transmissions for many years. I am Keltar, ambassador of the Solarian High Council. I am Commander Samantha Wells of the human vessel Artemis. How did you know we were coming?" "We detected your ship weeks ago. We have been eagerly awaiting your arrival." Keltar's silver eyes seemed to shine with excitement. "The Lost Ones have returned at last." "Lost Ones?" Alan asked. "Humans are mentioned in our ancient texts," Keltar explained. "A great civilization that vanished from the stars long ago. Many believed you were just legends." Samantha exchanged looks with her crew. "We would like to learn more. With your permission, we'll send a small team to meet with you." "We would be honored," Keltar said with a bow. The transmission ended. Jack Morrison, the newly appointed security chief, frowned. "I don't like this. It's too convenient." "What do you mean?" Samantha asked. "They speak our language. They've been waiting for us. They know about humans. It's too perfect." Jack crossed his arms. His military training made him naturally suspicious. "Maybe they're telling the truth," Alan said. "Maybe humans visited this part of space before." Jack snorted. "Then why isn't it in our records?" "Actually," Peter said quietly, "I found something strange. Parts of our historical database appear to be corrupted. Deliberately corrupted." This news silenced everyone. Samantha made her decision. "I'll lead the landing party. Jack, Alan, Olivia, you're with me. We need answers." 4 hours later, their shuttle landed in a large plaza in the Solarian capital city. Buildings of crystal and silver reached toward the sky. Thousands of Solarians gathered to watch the humans arrive. Keltar greeted them warmly. "Welcome to our world. The High Council awaits you." As they walked through the city, Alan was amazed by the Solarian technology. Flying vehicles moved silently through the air. Plants grew in impossible shapes. Everything seemed clean and perfect. The council chamber was a vast room with a circular table. 12 Solarian elders sat waiting. The humans were given seats of honor. "For generations, we have searched the stars for signs of humanity," the head counselor said. "Our oldest writings speak of your kind as friends and teachers. We have no record of previous contact with your species," Samantha said honestly. The counselors exchanged looks. "Perhaps your long sleep has affected your memories," one suggested gently. While the official talks continued, Olivia slipped away with a Solarian scientist named Terrace. "I've been working on a transmission we received," she told him. "Can you help me understand it?" Terrace examined the message pattern and turned pale. "Where did you get this?" "Our ship received it." "What does it mean?" "It's a warning," Terrace whispered. "About the Vex. They're coming." The Vex. Hunters. Harvesters. They find civilizations and consume them. Resources, technology, genetic material. They've destroyed dozens of worlds. "And they're coming here?" Olivia asked, her heart racing. Terrace nodded grimly. "They follow advanced energy signatures. Your ship's arrival may have drawn their attention." Back at the shuttle, Jack was conducting his own investigation. He had noticed something odd about the Solarians. They seemed almost too perfect, too helpful. Using a small scanner, he analyzed the air, the buildings, the ground itself. The results confirmed his suspicions. This civilization was recovering from a recent war. The perfection was a facade, carefully maintained for their benefit. The Accelarians were hiding something, and Jack was determined to find out what it was. After 3 days on Silara, the humans returned to the Artemis. Their minds were filled with questions. Olivia immediately told Samantha about the Vex threat. Jack shared his findings about the Accelarians hiding their war-damaged past. We need to wake more people, Samantha decided. Engineers, scientists, military personnel. We need their skills. Alan and his medical team began the careful process of reviving 200 more humans from their long sleep. Among them was Laura Bennett, the ship's chief engineer. Her eyes were sharp and curious as she took in the situation. 1,200 years, she whispered. My kids, everyone I knew, they're all gone. Alan placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. We're all in the same position, but we have work to do, Laura. The ship needs your expertise. Laura nodded and dried her tears. Show me the engine room. While Laura examined the ship's systems, Jack led a small security team to explore parts of the Artemis they hadn't visited before. The ship was enormous, nearly 5 miles long. Most of it remained unused, as the majority of the crew still slept in their pods. Commander, we found something, Jack called over the communicator. Section 42B, you need to see this. Samantha and Alan rushed to join him. What they found left them speechless. A hidden door had been discovered behind what looked like a normal wall. Beyond it lay a vast chamber filled with weapons and technology far more advanced than anything else on the ship. What is all this? Samantha asked, picking up what appeared to be a rifle of unusual design. Laura arrived, still wearing her engineer's jumpsuit. She examined the equipment with wide eyes. This is incredible. These weapons are at least a century more advanced than anything we had when we left Earth. And look at these engine components. They are designed for faster-than-light travel, well beyond what the Artemis was supposed to be capable of. But why hide it? Alan wondered. Jack frowned. I think I know why. He moved to a computer terminal and began searching through files. I found these encrypted logs earlier but couldn't access them. Let's try from here. The screen came to life. A video began to play. A serious-faced woman in a military uniform spoke directly to the camera. This is Admiral Helen Foster. Final log entry before cryosleep. The truth must be preserved somewhere. Earth wasn't destroyed by a solar flare as the public was told. We encountered the Vex in the Proxima Centauri system. The battle lasted 3 days. We lost. Earth was harvested. The 12 arcs were our last hope, not just to preserve humanity, but to one day rebuild our strength and fight back. Each arc contains military technology and weapons hidden from the crew, only to be revealed when the time is right. May God forgive us for our deception, and may humanity rise again. The video ended. Silence filled the room. They lied to us, Alan said quietly. Earth wasn't destroyed by a natural disaster. It was an alien attack. And now the same aliens have found us again, Olivia added, her voice shaking. Samantha's communicator beeped. Peter's voice came through, urgent and frightened. Commander, the Accelarians just contacted us. Their long-range sensors have detected multiple ships approaching. They believe it's the Vex fleet. Estimated arrival: 5 days. Laura was already examining the hidden technology. I can get some of these weapons operational quickly, but we'll need more people. Samantha looked at the faces around her. Fear was there, but also determination. Wake 500 more. Prioritize military personnel and engineers. And what then? Jack asked. Do we run or fight? Ellen thought about the thousands still sleeping, unaware of the danger. The Accelarians helped us. We can't just abandon them. Jack shook his head. Our priority is protecting humanity. Samantha stared at the advanced weapons. The weight of command felt heavier than ever. Aria, she called out. Show me the ship's full schematics. All compartments. No more secrets. The AI's calm voice replied. Caution. Full schematic access requires Admiral-level authorization. Samantha took a deep breath. Override. Emergency Protocol 9. The Vex have returned. Override accepted, Araya said. Displaying full ship schematics. What they saw next changed everything they thought they knew about the Artemis and humanity's true purpose among the stars. The complete schematics of the Artemis filled the large screen. The crew stared in amazement. The ship was not just a colony vessel as they had believed. It was a massive carrier. That's impossible, Laura whispered. These sections here, they're hangars. Enormous hangars. Araya's voice confirmed it. The Artemis was designed to transport a fleet of smaller warships. There are 27 vessels in storage, plus manufacturing facilities to produce more. Laura rushed to examine the data more closely. The ships are advanced, faster, more powerful than anything humanity had built before, at least publicly. Where are they? Samantha asked. Beneath the cryosleep chambers, Araya explained. Access can be gained through maintenance shafts in sections 50 through 65. Jack was already checking his weapon. I want to see these ships. Laura nodded eagerly. I'll come too. We need to know if they still work after all this time. While they went to find the hidden fleet, Alan and Olivia returned to the Xilarian planet. They met with Terrace and other alien scientists to develop defenses against the approaching Vex. We've been studying the Vex for generations, Terrace explained in his laboratory. They have a weakness. Their warriors are linked telepathically. They share a hive mind. How does that help us? Ellen asked. Terrace connected a small device to Alan's temple. Your species has unique neural patterns. Watch the screen. On a monitor, Alan's brain activity appeared as swirling colors. Next to it, Terrace's brain showed a completely different pattern. The Vex cannot connect to human minds, Terrace said. Your thoughts are chaotic, unpredictable. It confuses them. Olivia leaned forward with interest. Can we use that somehow? We believe so. If we amplify human neural patterns, broadcast them, it might disrupt the Vex communication network, like static in their shared consciousness. Back on the Artemis, Laura and Jack had found the hidden hangars. Massive doors had opened to reveal a cavernous space holding sleek, deadly-looking ships. Workers, newly awakened from cryosleep, swarmed over them, checking systems and making repairs. They're incredible, Laura said, running her hand along the silver hull of the nearest vessel. This one can carry 20 people and enough weapons to destroy a small moon. Jack checked the ship's computer. They're fully functional. The engineers who built this ship thought of everything. The vessels have been maintained automatically while we slept. Laura's eyes gleamed with excitement. We can have 10 ships ready in 48 hours. The others will take longer. That's good, Jack replied. Because I don't think we have much time. His communicator beeped urgently. It was Peter. The Vex fleet just accelerated. New arrival estimate. 36 hours. Jack swore under his breath. We need more time. On the bridge, Samantha received the same news. She made her decision quickly. Begin evacuating the Xilarians to their moon base. It's more defensible than their planet. And wake another 1,000 humans. We need pilots for those ships. Alan and Olivia returned with Terrace. They explained the neural disruptor idea. It might give us an edge, Olivia said. But we need time to build enough devices. Time is something we don't have, Samantha replied grimly. The Vex will be here in less than 2 days. The next few hours were a blur of activity. The first human fighters launched from the Artemis, flying in formation to protect the Xilarian evacuation ships. The sight of the small but deadly human fleet rising from the carrier shocked the Xilarians, who had seen the Artemis as simply a refugee vessel. Laura worked tirelessly in the engine room, bringing systems online that had been dormant for centuries. More humans awakened, disoriented at first, then determined when they learned of the danger. As the first Vex scout ships appeared at the edge of the system, Samantha gathered her officers on the bridge. "Today we face the enemy that destroyed Earth," she said firmly. "We are not running. We are not hiding. For the first time in over 1,000 years, humanity fights back." A cheer went up from the crew. On the main screen, the Vex ships approached, dark, angular vessels that seemed to absorb the light around them. The final battle for humanity's future was about to begin. The Xilarian moon base was a marvel of engineering carved into the rocky surface. Thousands of Xilarians crowded into the underground shelters as human ships patrolled the skies above. The evacuation had been completed just in time. The main Vex fleet arrived with shocking speed. 50 large ships, black as night, surrounded the Xilarian homeworld. They ignored the moon at first, focusing their attention on the planet's resources. On the Artemis, Samantha watched the enemy movements on the tactical display. "They don't see us as a threat," she said. "That's our advantage." The human fleet was small but ready. 12 warships had been prepared, each crewed by newly awakened humans who had trained for this very scenario before their long sleep. The ships hid behind the moon, engines cold, waiting for the order to attack. Among the recently awakened was Dr. Nathan Ford, a quiet man with kind eyes and a brilliant mind. He had been Earth's leading expert in quantum physics before the fall. "The Vex ships use a form of quantum entanglement for communication," Nathan explained to the command crew. "That's why traditional jamming doesn't work against them." "Can we use that against them?" Jack asked. Nathan adjusted his glasses. "Maybe. Their flagship, that large vessel at the center, coordinates the others. If we could disrupt its quantum field, we might confuse the entire fleet." "How do we do that?" Samantha asked. Nathan looked at Laura. "The Artemis's main engines generate a massive energy field. If we modify them to create a controlled quantum singularity, a black hole." Laura's eyes widened. "That's incredibly dangerous." "A small one," Nathan assured her. "Just enough to disrupt their communications, but someone would need to get close to their flagship to deploy it." The first battle began as Vex harvester ships descended toward the Xilarian planet. The human fleet sprang from hiding, weapons blazing. The surprise attack worked. 3 Vex ships exploded before the others could respond. The space around the planet erupted in light and fire as the 2 fleets engaged. Human pilots flew with desperate courage, their ships darting between the larger Vex vessels. The neural disruptors designed by Alan and Terrace worked, causing confusion in the Vex formations. For a moment, it seemed the humans might win. Then the Vex flagship deployed its main weapon, a beam of energy that cut through 2 human ships like paper. The tide turned quickly after that. "We've lost 4 ships," Jack reported grimly. "The others are taking heavy damage." On the tactical display, the surviving human vessels retreated toward the moon base. The Vex pursued, now fully aware of the threat the humans posed. "They found the moon base," Olivia said, her voice shaking. "They're charging their main weapon again." Nathan stood up. "We need to use my plan now. The singularity device is ready." "But we can't get close enough to deploy it," Laura argued. Nathan's face was calm. "I'll take it. The smallest ship can slip through their defenses." Samantha shook her head. "It's a one-way trip, Nathan." "I know," he said simply, "but there are 50,000 humans still sleeping on this ship, and thousands of Xilarians who helped us. They deserve a future." No one could argue with his logic. Within the hour, Nathan piloted a small, fast ship toward the Vex fleet. In the cargo hold, the singularity device hummed with power drawn from the Artemis's engines. "I'm approaching the flagship." Nathan's voice came through the speakers. "They'd spotted me." The crew watched as his tiny ship dodged energy blasts from the Vex vessels. Through skill and luck, he made it to the shadow of the massive flagship. "Device is armed," he reported calmly. "Singularity will form in 60 seconds. Get all our ships to a safe distance." "Nathan," Samantha began. "It's been an honor serving with all of you," Nathan cut in. "Make sure you wake the others. Tell them Earth is avenged." His signal cut off as a blast from the flagship hit his ship. But it was too late for the Vex. The singularity formed, a tiny point of absolute darkness that quickly grew. The flagship began to break apart, pulled into the miniature black hole. The other Vex ships tried to flee, but many were caught in the gravitational pull. From the safety of the moon base, humans and Solarians watched as their enemy disappeared into the void that Nathan had created. His sacrifice had saved them all. 1 month after the battle, the Artemis hovered peacefully in orbit around the Solarian moon. The singularity created by Nathan's sacrifice had collapsed after consuming the Vex flagship and 17 of their ships. The remaining Vex vessels had fled, their hive mind thrown into chaos. The victory had come at a great cost. 5 human ships were lost with all hands. The Exolarian planet had suffered significant damage from Vex harvesting beams, but they had survived, and now they looked to the future. In the Artemis main conference room, Samantha studied a star chart with Alan and the Exolarian leader Kelter. The mood was hopeful despite their losses. The long-range sensors picked up something, Samantha said, pointing to a distant star system. "It matches the signal pattern of another arc." Alan leaned closer. "You're sure?" Araya confirmed it. "Arc 3 is out there, about 6 months' journey from here." Kelter's silver eyes widened. "More humans. This is wonderful news." "And there's more," Samantha continued. "We've detected 2 other potential arc signals in different directions. The quantum ripples from our battle with the Vex traveled through subspace. If other arcs are out there, they might have detected it." "Humanity is finding its way back together," Alan said softly. On the Exolarian moon, Laura oversaw the construction of permanent structures above ground. Humans and Solarians worked side by side, sharing knowledge and technology. The neural link that Terrace had developed to fight the Vex had evolved into a teaching tool, allowing the 2 species to learn from each other at remarkable speed. Jack approached Laura, wiping sweat from his brow. The natural suspicion that had defined him had softened since the battle. "The defense grid is online," he reported. "If the Vex return, we'll have warning." "They'll think twice before attacking us again," Laura replied. She pointed to a large building taking shape nearby. "The new shipyard will be finished next week. We can start building a proper fleet." In the medical bay of the Artemis, Olivia helped Alan with the awakening process for another group of humans. They had established a careful schedule, 500 people every 2 weeks, to ensure resources weren't strained. "How many are awake now?" Olivia asked. "Almost 15,000. Alan replied. "Everyone's adapting well. Having a purpose helps. And the Exolarians have been incredible hosts," Olivia added. She had developed a close friendship with Terrace, spending hours learning about Solarian culture and sharing human history in return. On the bridge, Samantha met with her officers to discuss the future. "We've received a message from Arc 3, she announced. "They'll rendezvous with us in 6 months. They have 30,000 humans aboard." "And the planet survey?" Jack asked. Peter shared his findings. "We've identified a suitable world just 2 months' journey from here. Uninhabited, Earth-like conditions. The Exolarians have no claim on it, but agree it would make an excellent human colony." "Then that's our next step," Samantha decided. "We'll establish a permanent settlement while maintaining our alliance with the Exolarians." As the meeting ended, Alan walked to the observation deck. The Exolarian world shone blue and green below, reminding him painfully of Earth. But this wasn't a time for sadness. Humanity had found new friends, new purpose, and perhaps a new home. A group of children ran past him, both human and Solarian. The human children had been awakened with their parents, the youngest survivors of Earth. They played together without any sense of difference, laughing in the artificial gravity. Olivia joined him at the window. "I just sent a message to the stars," she said, "on all frequencies in all directions." "What did it say?" Alan asked. She smiled. "For Eons, Humanity slept. Now we build anew. Beyond the observation deck, the vast carrier section of the Artemis was being transformed. What once held sleeping humans now housed workshops, schools, and community spaces. The final cryopods were being prepared for awakening, bringing humanity's numbers to nearly 40,000. The ship that had carried them across the stars would soon become a monument, a reminder of their journey and their awakening. But humanity's story was just beginning again. After more than 1,000 years of sleep, they had returned to the stars, not as refugees, but as explorers, builders, and defenders of a new future.